everybody. Welcome to another edition of The Outpost. And I'm your host for today. My name is Mike Hurt. And The Outpost, we are a product of DAV Chapter 17, Ray H. Fuller, Winnebago County. And what we try to do here at The Outpost is share the latest and greatest information of things that are happening within our chapter, DAV chapter. And we also like to take a look from the local level, maybe the state, sometimes national. So it's a fun program, and we have some unbelievable guests for you today. So with that, without further ado, I have with me Jack Maloney. Right? Did I did good with the name?
Yes.
All right. And then John Hoeft.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Outpost.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Well, the reason I asked these guys here is that, what'll happen is we'll have get-togethers at the district level, at the state level, and at the national level for DAV. And very pleased to share, these two gentlemen were at the DAV National Convention in Las Vegas. And so what I was kind of hoping today, now this was Jack's first time being at a national DAV convention.
Yes.
And John has been at DAV national conventions. I think this is number 20 we had talked. So you have both ends of the spectrum. However, before we get rolling with that, I always like to talk about service. Every veteran has a slice of American history, has that time period where they put on the uniform and chose to defend our flag. And what I'd like to be able to do first is talk with the guys. So Jack, you were in the Marine Corps then?
Yes, I was in the Marine Corps after I graduated from high school from 1983 to 1987.
Okay. I gotta ask you. First off, I do make the exclaimer, and I do it for John. We're like Army guys, so so how did it work? So were you where did you go to basic, at San Diego, or is it the other place you go?
I went to basic training at San Diego, California.
Okay. Now, are you considered a Hollywood Marine?
Yeah, that's where we make real Marines.
Okay, and what's the other places?
The other boot camp is at Parris Island, South Carolina.
Okay. All right. So what was your MOS?
I was a 6413. I don't know if that MOS is still an active MOS. It was an aircraft radar and radio maintenance mechanic.
Okay. So it basically had to be like a smart guy then and be able to pull all that together and get those operating.
That's what they called us.
Okay. Now, you went to, how long was basic training back then? 8 weeks? 12 weeks?
Basic training was 12 weeks.
Okay.
And after basic training, I came back to Oshkosh area. I grew up in Omro. And I worked with my recruiter for approximately a month. And then I went to my first schooling, which was in Memphis, Tennessee, NAS Millington.
Wow.
Where I learned the basics of avionics and electronics.
No kidding. So that had to be some interesting stuff. So once you got basic done, and then you got your, we call it, do you guys call it AIT for schooling?
Not at the time.
Okay, that's what, so you did your schooling. What was your first duty station?
My first duty station, and actually my only duty station, was Cherry Point, North Carolina.
Okay.
After I left Memphis, I went to NAS Virginia Beach for my training on the actual equipment I'd be working on.
Okay.
And then off to Cherry Point.
Wow. So were you working, help me with this, were you working with jets, or, help me.
The aircraft that the materials I worked on, which was airborne radar systems, was the A6 and the A6B.
Okay.
Many people may know of the A6B from the blackout on the East Coast.
Oh, okay.
Oops. And the A6s were our version, essentially, of an all-weather attack aircraft,
Oh, no.
whereas
Okay.
our EA-6Bs were countermeasures.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, that had to be some exciting times. Now, help me with the terms here, but I know there's either a former Marine or ex-Marine, which is the term that used.
Neither. Once you earn the title Marine, you are always a Marine.
You're always a Marine then. So
Yes.
okay, always a Marine. Okay. Well, I know that that's one thing with the Marine Corps is just the sense of pride is so huge.
Yes.
So that's big. John, we've known each other for years.
A lot of years.
And your service goes all the way. I did it to you already. I just aged you all the way back to Vietnam. But you were in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And now, how did that work out? Were you drafted, enlisted, or?
No, I was drafted and I went in early to avoid Vietnam. I wasn't chicken, but my number was 19. I should have went in April. I went in October, and that's when the war was escalating. So the majority of us went to Vietnam. I had basic in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And my mother and my brother.
Now, basic was Fort Campbell.
Fort Campbell, Kentucky, home of the
Okay.
101st.
Okay.
And then you got to kiss your mother or whoever was there. And then they shipped us the next morning right off to AIT at Fort Lewis, Washington. That's where we knew it was for real. Out of 120 of us, 108 got infantry.
Wow.
And I mean, we had people that went into medics, transportation, but 108 out of 120 definitely was going into infantry. So we had our 9-week course there, went home, kissed your mother goodbye, flew to Oakland. First we were going to take a ship, and then they put us on a American Airlines. In fact, she spoke at our
BJ Pryor.
BJ Pryor
Right.
during my time. And from Oakland, we flew into Benoit. Then we got dispatched. We either were replacements for those that were killed or those going home. And there's about 5 of us from my company, including my buddy from Greenleaf, that we were in the same unit, a different squad, but the same company, Charlie Company. So we had training in Long Binh, about a 5-day camp to train you. I excelled in demolition and in map reading. Besides, I excelled with a machine gun at Fort Lewis. So when we got dispatched to our units, at the time we were down in the rice paddies by Camp Thole. And I wish I would have had those pictures, because I got that triple picture. Mm-hmm. One down there, one when I was in infantry in the jungle, and then the last few months I drove Deucenap because I had a license. But the thing is, we were down there for a short period, and that's when I was in ground mortars. My MOS was 11 Bravo and 11 Charlie. So I was training ground mortars with the infantry.
Mortars, yeah, 11 Charlie.
And we humped in, the race paddies and around, and we supported our infantry unit. It wasn't artillery that shot from ways back. We did like from here to the other side of the road, But that was short-lived. And then our first mission, we went up north. We flew in to where napalm hit. And we knew there was going to be some trouble. We heard it was a battalion. We only had 2 of our companies there. And then life went on from there. I don't want to talk too much about that. But the picture that they shown before was my
there it comes up. Can you explain a little bit about the picture, John?
That's my platoon. That's my platoon. I'm sorry it's so bad. I don't know why it turned so fuzzy, but it's old. It was from 1969. I was in the service October of 68. I got discharged early May of 70.
Now, when this picture was taken, was that in Vietnam or
Yeah.
States?
No, that was in Vietnam.
Okay.
Back at Oh, Black Horse. It was the home of the 11th Cav, and we worked under them. 11th Cav was the Air Mobile.
Okay.
Excuse me, First Cav. 11th Cav was there. That was, we went on APCs like in the rubber plantations, and like I would ride on top of the APC, and we'd have men around just like you see in the World War II movies. But yeah, that was Black Horse, and then 11th Cav pulled out, and the Arvins took it over, but our unit stayed there, so we had our own little within the compound. But we had to get water 6 miles away. Had to have a rapid patrol go get it because we always got snipered on. And well, we had a stand down, so we got steak and 3-2 beer, because you did well out in the field.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just survived. But now we're getting thin. We're having our last Charlie Company reunion next month in Iowa at the home of one of my buddies that was killed. That was next to me. That's where he grew up, and his sister owns it. She's hosting what's left of us. We'll probably only have about 30 of us there, and some of the wives. But it'd probably be our last one because we're all getting not old, but we're disabled.
Yeah.
I can hardly walk. I'm okay. So anyway, it's been a ride. It's been quick. I didn't get to enjoy anything. My orders was to go to Fort Riley if I would have finished out, if I would have took the 5 months. See, in the Army, if you're 19 months or more, you can get out. Well, they waived a bonus more than I made with combat pay and overseas pay, which I made about $3,000. No, I made $291 a month as a E4.
I remember getting that first check, Jack. I don't know about you, but it sure seemed big.
Well, in October,
Oh, yeah.
October as a E1, I made $67.20. And but I was supposed to go to Fort Riley, Kansas as a drill instructor, but you know what would happen? They would want me to re-up another year, and I'd be right back there in the jungle. And I was short enough where I got out. I got one piece of shrapnel. I got hit from a booby trap in my arm, but lost a lot of friends over there. We lost 26 people we meet whoever served in '69, and we lost 26, and I was with 24 of them. 2 were killed before I got there in January or February. And now it seems like every 2 weeks I'm getting a notice so-and-so died. So I think we're down to about, out of 155 of us, we're down to, I know, definitely under 50 people.
Well, I just jump in real quick, and I always like to, and I think this is so important to share with our audience. I'm an Iraq Afghan guy, and we received some incredible homecomings. I can remember in 2008 coming home, and the Patriot Guard was there. The mayor of Green Bay spoke. We were at a hangar. There was media there covering it. I think there was even a band there. There was food, our families, and so forth. And we had gotten wonderful homecomings. And the reason we got wonderful homecomings was because of the Vietnam veterans who made sure that would never, ever happen to another generation.
That's very true.
I always like to say whenever I'm, this is a great opportunity, John, with you here and with Vietnam veterans that might be watching our show, I say thank you. Thank you for having our back. You really did. And,
well, it
made a difference.
It was really thankless. I went to Oakland on the way back, took a cargo plane home. We sat on the plane 45 minutes, and those poor stewardesses or whatever they were, whoever was helping out, stay on your seat. And when you get off, hang on to the guy in front of you because they're protesting out there. I got off the plane outside. First thing I did is I hit the ground and kissed it. I didn't have to carry a weapon. But as soon as I went around the corner, I had a tomato side of the head. And I was breaking away to go after him. The guy behind me hung on to me. And I looked at that guy, and they're kids our age, hippies. I went like this to him. And he started flinching with my fingers.
Yeah.
And I said, boom. Well, then I get into customs. They open up my little bag. Here I had an Australian machete that I worked with the Aussies. He gave me combat boots, he gave me a machete, and he gave me an Australian lighter. Guy with the tie was kind of warm out. Soldier, what do you think you're doing with that? All the stuff we captured, we didn't get. The big boys got all this stuff. AK-47s and, enemy stuff. That was mine. I carried it on my right side, I carried a 45 on the other side, and I carried an M60 machine gun with an emerald barrel and a assistant. He said, what are you doing with that? I'm not going to swear, but I said, get your hands off it. That's not Army issue. And I grabbed his hand and he let go, and right now it's on my windowsill. My wife was always scared of me because I didn't need a pistol. It was either under my bed or on the windowsill where I could grab it if someone came in and shot me or whatever. But my wife thought I was a nut, but maybe I was. I've had counseling for probably 40 of those 56 years. Still get a little bit, but I'm okay.
Okay. But with that, times have moved on, and you're both active in the veterans community. Jack, I got to ask you, how'd you get involved with DAV? What about it said, I'm signing up for DAV?
Well, I'm a disabled vet myself, but mostly it's from my dad, who was also a Vietnam vet, who many years ago started displaying symptoms like he'd had a mini stroke or something. And him and Mom weren't very forthcoming for a long time with it until they finally told me that he had been diagnosed with, with Parkinson's disease. And I started researching Parkinson's disease and any possible link to Agent Orange.
Yeah.
And I saw that Congress was set to vote on making exposure to Agent Orange a presumptive condition for Parkinson's disease. And I essentially argued with my parents for 2 to 3 hours to get them to go down and fill out the paperwork so that when it did come to a vote and get passed, he'd be one of the first in line to...
Yeah, so you're like an advocate.
Yes.
You already were an advocate.
Yes, and they argued with me and argued with me and argued with me. He's same generation John is. The government doesn't owe me anything. I did my job, I came home. And just as I was getting ready to walk out the door and just pull my hair out, I remembered their granddaughter and how much my dad doted on her. So I pulled the granddaughter card.
Hey.
And I said, look, you've been diagnosed with this. It's presumptively going to be linked to your Agent Orange exposure. Eventually, Mom's not going to be able to take care of you on her own. She's going to need help. And that is going to totally drain your finances, Mom's finances. You're going to have nothing to leave your granddaughter. They were at the VSO's office the next morning.
Oh, okay.
And they listened to you, Jack.
Good.
And I was good friends with his dad. Very good.
Yes.
Okay. So, you joined DAV, you got involved. What was that first DAV National Convention like? Now, I know I think we have some pictures, some good pictures. This was held in Las Vegas. Yep, there we go. Bright lights, big
That was
city.
Las Vegas.
And so you're going to Vegas. What was that experience like for you, Jack?
Well, I've been to Vegas many, many, many times, as anybody that knows me can tell. But the convention was incredible. Just being with 1,000, 15, 2,000
Over 2,000 of just us.
of other veterans who advocate for veterans, are there for veterans, and getting to talk to people, meet people, hear their experiences and stuff.
That was, I always remember before I went to my first convention, it was you, John, who said that there is nothing quite like being in a convention hall and everybody looks like you. There's all these guys and gals walking around with veterans hats and service hats, and they're all members of the same organization, and it just throws you off because when we meet, I mean, we're a strong chapter here, but when all of a sudden you see thousands of people out there, and it's impressive. It's impressive. So,
No, well, just like your chapter.
How did you get first? Who asked you to join the DAV? How'd you get involved?
Actually, when they recognized that I had Agent Orange, it was like 95 or 96. Even though I went through hell in the 70s, my wife had 4 miscarriages, which was one of 3 conditions at the time. We had 1 healthy boy. And they were waiting for me to die. Finally, I rushed myself to Milwaukee because there's something wrong with me. Well, I went in intensive care. This is 95. And they said 2 days later, you better learn how to shoot yourself. You got diabetes. I said, no, I don't. I said, yeah, that's one of the 3 conditions. And I got problems with my legs and everything else. So anyway, I learned how to shoot myself. I mean,
with a diabetic.
With a diabetic.
Right. Okay.
I don't mean.
Yeah.
And then I just been under, one thing led to another, and I got probably 7 or 8 secondary problems. And now I'm having skin graft on my leg from thanks to Agent.
Who met with you to join the DAV?
I got a notice when I was down there for another appointment from the DAV, the NSO, the DAV office.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, would you like to join? I said, I don't know nothing about the DAV. And they said, well, I said, because you helped me, they got me for 2 months, I was at 20% automatically, and then it was pumped up because of my CIB and being in the jungle and stuff. And I said, yeah, I'll join, whatever it cost. Well, then someone told me about Winnebago County, which was Oshkosh at the time. And I said, well, yeah, I'll go to Oshkosh. I belong to Legion, Vietnam Veterans, AMVETS, American, you name it. And I went, and then, of course, after my first year, you're going to be an officer. And then I moved right up to the commander, retired, and then I went from senior vice to, I went from junior vice to commander. So I was commander for 5 years there. And then I've been the adjutant for 5 years.
Went 5 through 5 commanders.
5 commanders.
5 commanders. So,
but
so I got to ask you, you've been to 20 DAV conventions.
19. Now. It would have been 20 if we had one in Dallas.
Right. Okay. So you've been in 19. Is there anything with Las Vegas that stood out to you in comparison to the past, or was it just another great convention that you experienced?
I heard pros and cons about Vegas. I mean, it's fun, but I mean, we're tied up almost all day. If you want to do slot machine, you're doing it at night. Yeah. There's something going on almost 24/7. So it doesn't matter if it's Vegas or if it's in Tampa or year before it was in Phoenix.
So how did they break that out? Now, you've got a lot of information with you, Jack. What did you walk away with?
I got information here for DAV caregiver support.
There is it. Go back to that picture real quick back there. I just want to recognize some folks real fast. There is Chris Reichert, who is our benefits protection leader. And then you, Jack, is that you?
Yes.
And then John, I see, and is that John Jr. back there?
That's my son, John, yeah.
Yeah, John Jr. So, okay, that's at Las Vegas. So, anyhow, Jack is going to talk real quick about some of the information he got while he was there.
I came back with a flyer for the DAV caregiver support. It's information on, say, the wife, the spouse, the husband, the children, anybody that needs help with a disabled veteran, they offer support. And Camp Corral, however you want to pronounce it, which is a family camp weekend for disabled veterans and their families. They grant so many free weekends a year to a limited number of people, as many as they can accommodate.
Okay.
And they're both great informations. And then just the different pamphlets from the different meetings I went to. And
So what were some of the meetings? Looks like
I went to POWMIA meeting, which was attended by John also. Just very, very informational and very good meeting.
let's do like quick.
Sure. Our financial information and proposed budgeting, just information on our past commanders. But the ones that really piqued my interest were the general resolutions and employment committees. Just what the DAV and our representatives in Washington, what they're supporting on our behalf, and what they're not supporting and reasons why they're not supporting the various stuff. A copy of our vote reports. If anybody wants any of this information, you can reach out to me. Can be reached through the DAV, any of our officers. They can put you in touch. Our Hospital and Voluntary Services Resolutions Committee. All the resolutions that we support or don't support for the various reasons. And the big one is our legislatives and veterans' rights resolutions.
Yep.
Other stuff that we support or don't support, and the reasons why. A lot of times people say, well, why don't you support something? And it comes down to it's already being addressed in a different resolution. It's just repetitive. And try and keep the pipeline unclogged.
So yeah, and that is one thing I like what John said before too, and I think we can see by some of the information you shared is when you're going to a national convention, it's not goof off time.
No.
I mean, there is literally there's the expectation when you go there, you're engaged in be it committee meetings, presentations, getting the latest information, then bringing that back to the chapter. And that's why it's so important that our team that goes to, let's say, a national convention will then come back and do a little bit of a back brief about, hey, this is what's current, this is what's happening. And it's a good example of, how we move information up, and then this is an example of the information coming back down. So I think we do have a little clip from the Lieutenant Dan band there. Not that all times were serious, but good times. What was that? That's always fun with Lieutenant Dan.
He couldn't make it this year.
Yeah, but
But his band was there, and they did a great job. His band will make it if they're available. I think out of the 19 years, he's been at least 15 of them that I can recall.
yeah. And, what I always like with Gary Sinisi is him and our own Dick Marbs, national commander here from Wisconsin, have a really good relationship. And I've been at the national conventions where Gary literally is going, Dick Marbs, where are you?
Yep.
It's fun that a Hollywood actor such as, to me, he's like our Bob Hope.
Oh, he's our advocate.
Yeah, he's our advocate, and he just. So what happens is, we'll have all these activities in the day, but then we have, what was it called? Fun night? Is that, I think?
It's fun night, yeah.
Fun night.
But
So.
one quick thing, I think we got to pass pretty quick, right?
Yes.
Oh, we're getting there. Oh my God. See, I told you guys this goes quick.
Anyway, this was our 103rd National Convention. There's 52 departments, 50 states, Puerto Rico, and Washington, D.C. And they're supposed to all represent. We're all done?
Yeah. Yeah, we are going to wrap this edition of The Outpost. Thank you so much. God bless America, everybody.